So I'm going to talk about the importance of being willing to fight to get your way in life. This is something that not a lot of people really think about that much in life. You have to really figure this out in life. People aren't just born knowing this. A lot of people who figure things like this out in life work in things like law, courtrooms. They fight over legal cases. People have figured out that the harder you're willing to fight over things, the more likely you are to get your way. And also, there's a lot of things you need to be willing to fight over, and all kinds of relationships, for example, romantic relationships. You got to fight over things. You got to lead the other person down the right path. Maybe you shouldn't be fighting over things if you don't have really good judgment yet in life. But once you do have good judgment, you want to be fighting over things in life. And I can't put into words how important this became to me, sadly, in my early 30s. And for many people, it'll never be important in their life. I wish I had it down from day one. I wish I had good judgment from as early as possible in life. And I wish I accepted the importance of fighting to get my way. You got to fight to get your way. The moment you start noticing that your judgment is better than other people in the world around you, and you start pulling ahead of other people in life, which I'm sure your judgment will be better than other people's if you take my online course, Heaven's Light, seriously, you got to start fighting to get your way. There's a lot of easy battles to win that you should be winning, that are good for you to win, and that are worth your time and efforts to win. You got to make sure other people don't get their way. You got to get your way. Once you have good judgment, you get your way. You don't let other people get their way. It's going to mess up your life. You're actually helping others by fighting with them, to get your way once you have good judgment in life. So this becomes like an experience in life where you start to notice you're blowing past other people. It happened in my early 30s. I noticed that my judgment was just better than a lot of other people's judgment. And once I noticed that, I decided I was going to start fighting to get my way over things. The person that I'm in a romantic relationship with, my girlfriend, my wife, my whatever, she's not going to get her way all the time. That's not going to happen. I already know how that goes. Other people, they try and come in, like strangers out in public. They try and just get their way with you. They'll be saying something crazy. They could, for the example, the other day I was down at the beach and some lady was accusing me of doing something wrong. It was crazy. The lady, I had to, point her down and let her know, you need to leave me alone. I don't know you. I didn't do anything wrong. You're not going to come over here and start accusing me. I'm not going to start agreeing to anything. You need to leave me alone, lady. And, she took a walk. She took a walk right up those stairs. Her tail went in between her legs, and she was gone. That woman. Okay? That woman's tail went right in between her legs. I scared her off. So, yeah, you got to fight to get your way in life, because other people are going to come and try and get their way with evil things, stupid things, all kinds of bad things that are bad in all kinds of different ways. They're going to try and get their way. You don't let these other people get their way in life. Once you have good judgment, you need to start understanding the importance of fighting over things in life and how hard you're willing to fight over it to get your way. And, if you take Heaven's Light seriously, my online course, I think you'll within at least, at most a few months, a few years. I mean, you'll start to notice changes around a few months if you take Heaven's Light very seriously, but at most, maybe 3-4 years, your judgment will be better than a lot of people's in the world. And you'll be ready to start fighting with people over things. When you step out your door into public, other people aren't going to be getting their way all the time. Trust me. And it's a difficult process, but it's a worthwhile process.